Hey everyone, it's Kellen Brauer here from RacerX, back again with another race examination video. We're going to take a look at a couple things from Indianapolis, looking at the highlights footage here. Starting off, Ken Roczen, of course, getting the whole shot, leading the way early on, but Chase Sexton was putting the pressure on him until this early mistake as Sexton goes up and over the bars. Now, I wanted to kind of break this down a little bit because Sexton had been taking this second rut many laps in a row, and he'd been hitting it a little bit harder than he hits it this time through, but he does actually catch a foot peg right there on the inside left right there. You're going to see some dirt kick up right there, a little dirt kick up. The foot peg gets caught, and he goes right up over the bars. It's just freak deals every week with Sexton. It's unfortunate that this keeps happening to him. And I did want to provide a quick update that Lars Lindstrom at Honda said that Sexton actually had a little bit of bruising on his foot, but was mostly okay otherwise. As we move a little bit forward, I wanted to talk about the difference of blitzing versus jumping the whoops through this middle line, because Justin Barcia actually was blitzing the whoops through the entire main event, and he said that he felt that it was the only option that worked for him, is going through that middle jump line didn't work. And here's what he had to say in the press conference.
It was tough tonight. It was tough to go so low because I had to go so low to go to the right and skim them. But I felt like for me, it was way better than going down that V line because it would catch you off a little bit. And I feel like that was the best spot on the track for me. So
yeah, Barcia was definitely making up a lot of time in the whoops. It actually helped him almost catch Ken Roczen a little bit later on. And he passed Cooper Webb right there for a second. A little bit later on in the main event with about 5 minutes or so to go, Eli Tomac gets caught out by Dean Wilson going down in front of him, but he was already losing a lot of time to Christian Craig, and it was just an off night for Eli Tomac. He was moving forward at one point, then he started fading back. Christian gets him right here for 7th, and this is what Eli had to say about the race. He says, "It was a tough one today. The track was pretty gnarly, and we just struggled to find our comfort zone all day. We did our best to salvage the points. We'll put this one behind us and come back next weekend in Detroit." And for Tomac, that has been something over his career that we've seen where if he's not really feeling it, he doesn't push it, and particularly lately, if he's not feeling 100% on the racetrack, he definitely isn't going to push it and crash, as we go back to, obviously, Anaheim 2 when he crashed there, pushed a little bit over the limit and went down. So back at, like, Tampa when he finished 5th, didn't push over the limit, ended up 5th. At the Indy Supercross, he ends up in 8th. But, of course, the big winner was Ken Roczen. The coolest moment of the weekend for sure. Maybe the coolest moment of the year. The crowd was going absolutely bonkers for Kenny. Even Justin Barcia, who almost caught him at the end, is right there to greet him with a huge hug right away. These two have actually become pretty good friends, which is pretty cool to see between those two guys. And then Roczen, of course, thanking his Suzuki for carrying him to victory. I mean, this is the raw emotion pouring out of Roczen for what has been a trying year for him thus far, and obviously got a lot of flack for moving over to Suzuki, but he made it work. And how about this? All dads on the podium. We got the wives and the kids, everybody up on the podium. This is actually the second time it's happened this year when Barcia, Tomac, and Webb all hit the podium in San Diego. That was the first time it had actually ever happened. So the second time in the history of Supercross that it's all dads on the podium. I want to remind everybody that this video is presented by OnX Off-Road. Know where to go with the #1 off-road GPS app. Access 500,000 plus miles of trails and roads, open dates, and public lands. Use the code RACERX, that's RACERX, for 20% off when you download the OnX app today. Moving on to the 250 class, and it was Hunter Lawrence rocketing out of the gate, just getting Jordan Smith into the first turn and pushing him out a little bit, allowing Chris Blosby into second place. We're actually going to talk about Hunter Lawrence's pretty much lone mistake that he had in the whole main event. You can't really call it a mistake because it's a lapped rider, Brock Papi. He's trying to get around. Papi crosses over, and Hunter Lawrence hits him pretty hard. Actually, remarkable that both of those guys didn't go down, but that was only the only blip for Lawrence. But if we watch this again, I wanted to highlight something interesting right here. Lawrence is going to clip this little lander and go right into Papi. I mean, man, just elbows him. Papi, I don't know how they both stayed up, but you can see right here, this little piece of metal hanging down right there is actually Papi's clutch. That knocked Papi's clutch off. So there on the ground behind him, there lays the clutch, and then Papi going for the clutch grab here, finds no clutch, and then rolls away and goes like, what the heck? There's no clutch here anymore. But that was pretty close call. Remarkable that neither rider went down. Hunter Lawrence stays up, cruises to the win. Haiden Deegan went down in the whoops late in the main event while he's in 5th place, lost a couple positions. Had been kind of struggling through the whoops. Actually lost position to Jeremy Martin because he was struggling in the whoops, and Martin caught and passed him. But this is just entering a little bit sideways, kind of ends up centered on top of that rut right there, falls into the middle groove, then continues to hook a little bit left, and you're going to see as he hops right here, he's going to land cross-rutted. So the front tire's teetering across this rut right here. So when the rear tire hits, it just catapults him forward. Noses in. Lucky to knock over the bars, really, theoretically, there as he kind of just goes off the side of the track. But a wild little ride, and a nice job to not get too hurt and get up and still finish 7th in the main event. But it was all Hunter Lawrence. Nobody was able to catch him, even though Thrasher got into second early on. Lawrence just slowly pulled away, and Lawrence is carrying a ton of momentum with him as he looks for his 5th win in 6 rounds to start the year coming up in Detroit.